Oh, hey there! You caught me reading before bed. Oh, I love this book. I think I've read it at least 100 times. Have you been celebrating World Book Day? Did you dress up as your favorite book character or read your favorite stories? What's that? Oh, you want me to tell you one? Well, I was about to go to sleep, but there's always time for a story. And this one was requested by Naya. Dear Lucy, I would love to hear a story where I become a unicorn and my toy unicorn becomes a real-life unicorn too, and we go on an adventure. And we find a white horse that can fly. And my brother is there in a big blue bus. Okay, let's see what we can do. Naya had several wonderful toys. By far, her favorite was her plush, cuddly unicorn. She really did love it so. She was always inventing fun things to do with her unicorn. Today, she was holding a little tea party in her bedroom and had asked her younger brother Flynn to join her. There was imaginary tea, imaginary cake, and imaginary sandwiches. But despite none of it being real, Naya thought it was all delicious. She was just about to cut Flynn and her unicorn another slice of her imaginary cake when she heard a tiny voice sobbing. It appeared to be coming from outside her window. When she first looked through the glass, she couldn't see anyone at all, even though she could still hear the crying. It was only when she looked down onto the windowsill itself that she saw a tiny person with shimmering wings perched on the far edge. Immediately, Naya knew she was looking at a fairy. Naya didn't want to frighten the fairy, but nor did she want to leave her crying all alone either. So she gently opened the window and in a soft voice said, "Excuse me, is there something I can do to cheer you up?" The little fairy lifted her chin and looked at Naya through tear-filled eyes. "Oh, I'm so sorry to disturb you," sniffed the fairy. I didn't think I'd disturb anyone up here." "Oh, you're not disturbing me," reassured Naya. "Why don't you come in and join our tea party?" "Oh, thank you," said the fairy, wiping her cheeks. "That's very kind of you." "This is my brother Flynn," said Naya. "We're having tea, cake, and sandwiches." "Tea, cake, and sandwiches? All I could see are empty cups and plates," said the fairy, somewhat confused. "We're just pretending," said Flynn. "My cake's chocolate," and he took a big pretend bite. "Oh, that will never do," said the fairy with a frown and flicked her fingers, sprinkling fairy dust across the tea party. All at once, all the plates were full of cake and sandwiches, and all the cups full of hot, sweet tea. "Oh, yeah," said Flynn, who was now holding real chocolate cake. He took a huge mouthful and munched on it happily. "If you don't mind me asking," said Naya, "why are you crying?" "Oh, that," replied the fairy sadly. "I'm in a terrible state, I'm afraid." "Go on," urged Naya. "Maybe we can help you." The fairy shook her head from side to side. "I doubt it. You see, an evil fairy has come to my village and turned all my family and friends into stone. She will only release them if I bring her a horse feather." "A horse feather?" said Flynn. "What's one of those?" "That's it. I don't know," said the fairy, and began sobbing again. "I've searched and searched, but so far I haven't found any such thing." "Then let us help you," said Naya kindly. "With 3 of us looking, it has to be better than just one. And look, I'll bring my fluffy unicorn along too. I'm sure she'd like to help." "Oh, how very kind of you," said the fairy. "That's the first piece of kindness anyone has shown me since I started my quest." "Very well, you can come with me. I was going to search the rainbow veil next." Again, she cast some fairy dust into the air, and then, in the middle of the room, formed a circular door. "Come along," said the fairy, taking the door handle in her hand. "Follow me." So they did. They were in a pretty valley full of emerald green trees and a meadow of tall flowers and grasses. The valley rose up on either side of them towards rocky hills, and overhead the midday sun shone down upon their heads.
"Oh, we've quite a distance to search,"
said the fairy.
"So I think we need to make some changes."
More fairy dust flew from her fingers and landed upon Naya and her plush unicorn. Naya suddenly felt all tingly and realized that her body was changing shape, and so was her unicorn. Once the transformation was complete, the little girl and her toy had each become magnificent real-life unicorns.
"Amazing!"
said Naya, and her unicorn bowed its head and shook its mane. Flynn was then helped up onto his sister's back, and they were off, galloping along the valley in search of a horse feather.
"What do you suppose a horse feather is?"
asked Flynn sometime later.
"Is it a feather in the shape of a horse?"
That can't be right, can it?" said Naya.
"Maybe it's got a picture of a horse on it." "The trouble is, I just don't know,"
said the fairy, flying alongside them. The meadow flowers gave way to shorter grass, and up ahead they could see a herd of wild horses grazing upon it.
"Let's ask these horses if they know what a horse feather is,"
suggested the fairy. None of them had any better ideas, and so they slowed to a trot as they approached. All of a sudden, the entire herd broke into a canter, running away from the approaching unicorn pair. At first, Naya thought they'd scared them away, but then Flynn pointed at something running out of the longer grass, higher on the valley's side, a saber-toothed tiger. It charged after the horses, hoping to make the slowest of the herd its next meal.
"Oh, we've got to help!"
shouted Naya, but already the herd was some distance away. Even though they tried to catch up, it looked as if they would be too late. The saber-toothed tiger was closing rapidly on a young foal.
"Oh, I can't watch,"
said the fairy. But before the big cat could strike, a wide shadow swept over them all as something flew out of the sky on broad white wings. Hooved feet struck the side of the saber-toothed tiger, sending it tumbling. Frustrated and defeated, the saber-toothed tiger got back to its feet and slunk back into the long grass. Up ahead, the herd had stopped and was looking back just as the winged creature touched down before them. It was a horse as well, but pure white, and with a pair of powerful white wings.
"Look,"
said Naya excitedly.
"a horse with feathers! Oh, we found what you were searching for!"
The little princess was speechless. This could indeed be it. However, when they tried to approach, the winged horse and the herd backed away.
"I've got an idea,"
said Naya.
"Why don't you let me and my unicorn handle this? We look more like them, so might be comfortable with just us."
And so Flynn and the fairy agreed to hang back. It was a good plan, too. The horses were far more accepting of the unicorn pair, allowing the two unicorns to trot right up to the winged horse, where they bowed their heads respectfully.
"What are two unicorns doing in my valley?"
asked the winged horse forcefully.
"Oh, pardon me," began Naya, "but we're on a quest to rescue a village from an evil fairy. All we need is one of your feathers. Would you be so kind as to spare us one?"
It's many a year since I've seen a unicorn,
said the winged horse.
let alone two, but your request sounds noble and good, so I will grant you what you need.
"Oh, thank you,"
said Naya, bowing her head once more.
"Thank you so much."
The two unicorns returned to Flynn and the fairy, with the horse feather held gently in Naya's unicorn teeth. The fairy was extremely grateful.
"Now I can return to my village and free them from this wicked curse. I must leave right away." "Well, shall we come with you?"
asked Naya.
"We'd be happy to."
The fairy shook her head gently.
"No, you've done enough,"
she said with a smile, and Naya and her unicorn transformed back to normal.
"I must do that part alone now, so I must say goodbye." "But how will we get home?"
asked Flynn.
"You can't leave us here." No, I'm not leaving you anywhere,
she said, and cast one final arc of fairy dust into the breeze. It swirled through the air with a sparkling shimmer to reveal a blue bus. The doors opened, but there was nobody on board.
Simply tell the bus where you want to go. It will take you home,
said the fairy.
And Flynn, you can sit in the driver's seat if you like.
With a wave, the fairy flew back along the valley, leaving Flynn, Naya, and her cuddly unicorn stood beside the bus.
But there aren't any roads,
pointed out Flynn.
I don't think that's going to be a problem,
reassured Naya.
It looks like a magic bus after all.
They climbed aboard, with Naya and her unicorn sitting near the back and Flynn in the driver's seat. Once they were settled, the doors closed with a hiss and then opened again.
Excuse me,
said a voice, and onto the bus climbed a gnome with a pot of honey.
Does this bus stop at Firebreak Mountain? I suppose so,
said Flynn.
We just have to tell it where to go, so we could drop you there first,
said Naya helpfully.
Oh, that's just great, that is,
said the gnome.
I need to get this pot of honey there before tea time. Otherwise, the Dragon King is going to eat the princess.
Flynn and Naya looked at each other and shrugged their shoulders. It looked as if they were going to have another adventure. Once again, the doors hissed, closed, and the bus's engine rumbled into life. And they began to roll forward, this time to save a princess. The end.
So that you don't miss a single episode, just click that subscribe button.